Hello, good evening, and welcome, as they used to say on TV, and welcome to another Irish whiskey review with me, Marty Macaulay. And tonight we are reviewing Dingle, our little distillery down in County Kerry. Now, this is the fourth release pot still. So, fourth single pot still release from them, matured in Bourbon and Oloroso casks. Now, we do like Dingle. We like little Dingle. I've said before, I've had the privilege of going down to it. It's in a beautiful location. It isn't. It's a tiny little distillery. It really is. Not the smallest. Certainly not the smallest in Ireland, but it's compact and bijou is what they would say in the estate agent trade, or realtor trade if you're watching in the US of A. Now, just for clarification, this was sent to me by the distillery, so thanks very much for that. Now, as per usual, we like the bottle design. It's very tactile. We like the label. It's got a nice feel to it. It's that sort of raised paper, I should say. All the bottles are independently numbered, and it's sticking with the traditional style that they are used to. So, yes, bottled at 46.5%, a little independent distillery. Now, they sent out this chocolate, and we'll get to that later. So, this arrived the other day. I opened it the day it arrived, had a little taste of it, just to warm the taste buds, give the old mucous membrane a run round with it, you see what we think. Now, Dingle, when it was released, was extremely collectible. Lots of people bought it, and then what they did was they flipped it, as it's known. So they bought it to sell on the auction market. Thankfully, that's all calmed down now, and people can buy it and without having to worry about paying extra prices at auction and stuff, which obviously annoys a lot of people that just want to drink it. A lot of the distillery guys aren't overly chuffed with it either, but unfortunately that's the way of the world. Now, so let me see. The fourth small batch release of single pot still whiskey brings the marriage of bourbon and Oloroso casks together with an intense richness and a rush of spice. Tones of dark fruits and figs are followed by dark chocolate with a sprinkling of roasted chopped nuts. The chocolate gives way to returning spice of softwood and leather notes which glide you along in a long, memorable finish. Dingle, handmade character, unique whiskey from the age. So, yeah. Now, we like Dingle. We like the story of it. We certainly like the location. Have we look at the colour? Yep, colour pretty good. Now, on the nose, yeah, it's very interesting. It's got a very nice nose to it. So it has. It's an interesting nose because it's very rich fruit, but it's alcohol soaked fruit. So it's like this. It's like when you soak fruit to put it into a Christmas pudding or that kind of thing. I mean, at 46.5%, it's quite punchy, but there's lots of chopped nuts in it. Yeah, definitely. There's a cask influence coming through on it too. The actual wood. It's quite rich. There's lots of fruit. So you're getting your raisins, your stewed plums again. Those sort of alcohol soaked fruits there's like cherry lips. You know those sweeties. It's like a cherry flavouring, which is interesting. And there's also a little bit of toast coming through on it too. Yeah, it's very nice on the nose. I always like Dingle because it's always quite viscous. You always get a nice oily mouthfeel with it. For me, that's one of the best things about it. Roasted peanuts, almond, definitely loads of chocolate. Again, the dark fruit, little touch of spice, like allspice, possibly ginger, creamy. There's butter there. Yeah, it's got a nice rich mouthfeel. I like Dingle always has that nice mouthfeel to it. It's got that sort of oily texture that coats your mouth. And it's really good. On the finish, nice, decent length coming through. It has first thing you hit, geez, the toasted nuts. There's a little bit of aniseed there, which I've got quite a lot. I've got before in Dingle. That chocolate. The finish is just keeps going on, and little bits of spice coming in. Again, possibly a little bit of ginger, crystal ginger. That chocolate, dark chocolate, it gets darker. Starts off quite mild chocolate and deepens. Again with the fruit, nuts, and the oak sort of punching through there a little bit as well. Little touch of water. I love watching it. So we'll just put a little touch with the wee silver spoon. And we'll let it sit a little second. Now the chocolate is it's from Bean and Goose chocolate people. Bean and Goose are in County Wexford. This is organic Ecuadorian cocoa beans. So it is sour cherry, almond, and tonka infused with the thing. It comes in this little bit of gold. Now I don't have a really sweet tooth, so I don't tend to eat an awful lot of chocolate. But a little bit of this the other night. And so it's made with this whiskey. And you'll notice they have some raisins in it. That works really well. Really well. As soon as the whiskey hits it, it just pops. Yeah. Really, really good. Really good. The sour cherry really just pings out. Everyone has flavours that they pick up more than others. It's just the way human beings are built. And that cherry note for me comes through quite a lot. I seem to pick that up, where some people pick up something else, I pick up cherries. But that works really, really well. With that, Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of a problem that I've picked up, or not that I've picked up, but that I need to warn people about. When you're bringing stuff out in batches, you're not bringing out a consistent product. It's not like you're bringing out a brand that's readily available all the time. And what happens then is you start to do comparisons. So this is batch number 3, which was matured in bourbon and port casks. So what you then do is you take your number 4, pop, and you start to compare it with number 3. And this can either be a good or a bad thing, because is batch 4 better or worser than number 3? Now, they're different, totally different. Yeah, I'm not going to give critique and do massive comparison between the two, because I like them both. I know that lots of people out there don't have batch or number 3 sitting about, but which one do we think is better on the nose? This is a little sharper, so that's a little bit more rounded, a little bit more body to it on the nose, on the tongue. I mean, there's loads of nuts, the cherry, chocolate, and all coming through. This number 3 for me has more depth of flavour. It's got more layers of flavour to it. You know, this is good, but that to me is better, and that's a little bit of a problem. I know for some people they'll prefer this to that, and that's fair enough. But you do start to make these comparisons. Was that release much better than that one and that one and that? And in some ways that can then take away from what this is by itself. I totally respect what Dingle do and totally get why it's done like this, but it does lead to competition within its own brand in some ways, which I don't think necessarily is the healthiest way long term, but that's entirely up to themselves. We like Dingle. There's absolutely no question about that. It's a fantastic product, super quality, and we like the story. We like everything about them, really. But I prefer batch 3 to batch 4. I just think there's better flavour, even though we get the chocolate with batch 4. Well done. Yeah, it's just sort of, there's not the same depth of flavour with 4 as there is to the 3. I have to mark it. I'll give it I'll give it a 7.5. I feel as if I'm sort of doing them a disservice. I maybe should give them a little bit more than that, but I think 7.5. It's quality. It's really it's good. It is good, but I'm layering it up against its siblings, and I think whenever you do that, there's a natural instinct to mark it down a little bit. So I'll give it a 7.5. It's really good, but it's just not as good as its predecessor. Yeah. But again, we love Dingle. Keep up the good work, and we look forward to batch number 5. Yeah. So anyway, peace out. All that, and take care of each other, and stay safe, everybody. Okay, take care. Bye bye.